let the math speak, right? We're about to talk with the math, right? So the offer as presented, this is what the investor is presenting. She's presenting this deal to everyday Joe. The loan amount, $48,000. Interest rate, 8%. Monthly interest payment is $320. Loan term is 12 months. Lien position is second, which is the riskiest. Your total interest income for the year is $3,840. When you add that back to your $48,000 at the end of the loan term, you'll have your retirement account grew to $51,840. All right. Now remember, this is the 1 year term that they would be willing to accept. The 5 year term is what they're looking for. This is everyday Joe surfing the internet. He got $48,000 cash. He got $48,000 in his retirement account, just sitting around doing nothing. The investor is offering you 8% interest. Again, the monthly payment is $320. The long term is for 60 months. That's 5 years. This is the desired loan. Yeah, second lien position, again, the riskiest position out there. And the total interest income is $19,200 and $200. So when you add that 48 to the 19, oh, my math is right. It's not. It should be $67,200, right? So there should be a 2 here. I'm going to change it right here on screen. So it should be $67,200. So at the end of a 60-month term, in the most riskiest position, and again, we got to assume this ARV means that it's not even at the 220. It's possibly lower because we have to make improvements. We always want to look at as is value as well. So you got your initial investment at 48 and you walk away again with 67,200. Not bad. If you let it sit for 60 months, or is it? Let's take a look and see how would this look if you kept your $48,000 moving year after year after year after year for 5 years, instead of it sitting in one deal for 5 years, right? So again, we loaned our principal and interest back out year over year for 5 years. Let's see what that looks like. So in a compounding environment with vertical capital, we pay 10%, not 8%. You're not in second lien position with us. You're in first lien position, meaning we're first. We're first, right? So we got compounded Corey here in year one. His loan investment was $48,000. I'm using the same one. I'm using $10,000, 10% because that's what we paid. His monthly payments is $400, 12-month term. Lien position first, right? Mitigated our risk. You got $4,800. You add that to his $48,000. At the end of the 12 months, you got $52,800. So in a compounding environment, we assume our principal and interest will be reinvested in year 2. So now compounding Corey in year 2 starts off with $52,800. We loan this back out. We pay 10%. Your monthly payment is $440, 12 months. First lien position, not a risky position. $5,200, $58,080. And if we do that, remember, we're carrying our principal interest into the new year, into a new loan at an interest rate of 10%. He'll end with $63,888. You can clearly see by year 4, Corey has already grew his retirement account in this instance. In year 4, it's $70,276.80. You're getting $67,200 in 5 years with this investor in the riskiest position possible. I want to let that sit. In 4 years, you get $70,000 in a position where it's not a lot of risk. You're in first lien position. You're earning way more in first lien position at 10%. We're compounding it. And in year 4, your retirement account has grown from $48,000 to $70,276.80. You've got to let this marinate. Now, then we take this again in year 5. At the end of year 5, you're at $77,303.52 versus the end of year 5 with investor number 1 at $67,200. Now, this is the question that I asked you earlier. Would you take $100,000 today, or would you take the penny doubling every 30 days on investor number 2? This is an example of the difference in the mindset, right? In this example right here, we're not using any finance at all. We're using simple. We're not analyzing anything. We're not using any principles. Elridge and I talk about 4 principles on there: where your money resides, the velocity of money, strategic debt, compounding interest, and those are the 4 key components. And here we're using about 3 to 4 of them. We're using compounding interest, we're using the velocity of money, and we're using 3 of the 4, and we're using where the money resides, right? That bulk, where your money actually sits. So if you did this yourself, the rates could be as high as 12 to 18% in some markets. And I'm not including fees and points, and that just adds added bonus to it, right? So I went and took a step a little bit further. I wanted to do some additional research, and I wanted to show you. Look, if you want to learn how to do this and you want to learn how to do it yourself, download our free ebook or join our community. We teach this stuff in our community, right? And again, I told you in second lien position, you probably could be somewhere around 13, 12, 18% if you're going to do second lien position. But right now, it's first lien position. Even if you're doing this yourself in first lien position, you automatically can get charged 12 to 18% just on first lien position, which is the safest position to lend your money in, right? Or what we call the position that has the less risk. So if your money is sitting in your self-directed retirement account, like the investor is pitching, that means you're not earning any interest, because a self-directed, you're the one that's controlling those investments. It's assuming that it's sitting in there. There's no interest. It's not tied to Wall Street or stocks and bonds. It's tied to whatever you put, right? So it's at 0%. Now, if you have it sitting in a 401k, the average 401k for 2023 earned an annual 9.7%. This investor is offering you 8%. Based on this offer, if you move this $48,000 from this retirement account and move it over here to loan to this person, you're losing. And if you did this yourself, you would be at 12 to 18%. So let's look at the offer again. The offer that is being offered is super risky, in my opinion. Why? We're in second lien position. There's all kinds of things that can possibly go wrong. We have below market rate. The offer, the interest payment is below market rate. So in this instance, is the juice worth the squeeze? My opinion, probably not. 75% LTV is a little high for second lien position. You probably want a little more than 25% of protective equity here. Remember, because that 25% is not all your 25%. That's also assuming that the first lien may not eat up all of that 25%, right, on their diligence to recover if something goes wrong. Meaning if they press for the loan and they may push towards foreclosure. What happens then? Interest starts calculating and fees start calculating. So some of that stuff can be eaten up in the 25%. 48,000 is a low number, but you still got to consider this is your retirement cost. This is money you've saved to retire. So it makes the risk a little bit more higher, in my opinion, because now we're using funds that we worked so dearly to save for when we want to retire, right? So you got to be careful. So the question is, do you have the banker's mindset? And hopefully after the end of this video, your answer should be yes. All of this information is free out here. If you have any questions, just drop a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer. Or you can join our community. There's a team of people waiting to assist you.